Tick.
Now, as the oldest city in South Africa, Cape Town boasts a number of important historical buildings, many of which are still in use today, you guys, and they're open to visitors. Now, the city's architecture is very indicative of, the different influences that have been on South Africa in order to shape this unique history that we have. And to break this down even more for us, we're joined by a social history curator, you guys. Her name is Esther. Welcome to HN9.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for joining us, Esther. Now, you're a social history curator. So what does that actually mean, and what does that job entail?
Right, I work for Izika Museums of South Africa. We're a group of museums based in Cape Town.
Okay.
We work from historical buildings, so we love them, we appreciate them,
Yes.
and then we care and collect objects and also stories,
Okay.
because these stories are actually bringing the objects alive. And then we do research and we do exhibitions, events and public programs.
Wow, that sounds like a lot. So let's talk about historically important buildings. What are they and why are they so significant?
Right, I think a historic building needs to be quite old, needs to be 50 years and older,
Okay.
and it needs to have significance. It either needs to have a very beautiful architectural style, or it needs to be related to an event, an important person, part of our history, because this is our past.
Yes.
And it's a legacy that we take forward into the future.
Okay. Okay, so how are these buildings actually, picked out, and what does that process actually look like?
Right. There are a number of provincial heritage buildings and national heritage buildings in South Africa, and they're being regulated by the law, and they're being run by the South African Heritage Resources Agency.
Okay.
But you, as a young teen or a person out there, can actually engage and say that I appreciate this site or this specific building and I don't see it on your list. Let's see how we can give the status to this
Yes.
building. So I think it's important that people engage with their heritage sites, because obviously if you go onto their website, you'll see the sites that are there and the sites that are missing. And that's the power that we have to actually bring all the important sites to life.
And it is our heritage after all. So let's actually talk about some of these sites. Now, the Castle of Good Hope in Cape Town is one of the oldest buildings in South Africa. Talk to us a bit more about it, how it came about, the architecture.
Right, if you come in by train, you will see this 5-point building, which does not look like a castle. It is more a fortification. It was built during the time of the Dutch East India Company, because they wanted to keep other countries out. So they built this fort. And it's built in a Dutch style. It's a Dutch fortification style.
Okay.
But it's got a lot of history. It was built in 1666, over a number of years. It's got a lot of history. It was always like the seat of government. The military base was there.
Oh, wow.
And then lots of stuff happened there, because your life was sort of run from there. If you did something wrong, you were incarcerated, tortured. There's a lot of history, and I think at the moment the Castle Control Board is trying to get the castle upgraded a heritage status, and also to tell the stories that have not been told before of the site.
Okay, so can you name some of the other buildings that are of the same caliber?
Right, I think the second oldest building is most probably the Slave Lodge, top of Adderley Street.
Okay.
Now, if you pass that building again, you will say it doesn't, it looks so grand, it's a double-story building, but it was an old slave lodge built in 1679 to house enslaved people that worked in the company's gardens. It was obviously changed later on. And again, what's important here is we're trying to get people back into the site, to share the stories and to turn this site into a place of human wrongs into a place of human rights. So that is what we try. That's how we try to turn. You talk about the hate. That's how we try to turn that around into something that everybody feels part of.
Yeah, and something that we can all appreciate.
Exactly.
Yeah, so can you talk to us about how our viewers can actually get a hold of this whole process of nominating sites and so on?
Right. I mentioned SARA, the South African Heritage Resources Agency. They have an information system called SARIS. And if you just go onto the website, find them, and then you'll see there's a whole procedure that you go through. You have to say what you want to nominate as a heritage site and give all the particulars and the reasons why you think it's so important.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for joining us on the
Pleasure.
show today, you guys. Esther is a social history curator, you guys. And as she mentioned, you can hop onto those sites and actually nominate the sites that belong to our heritage and, you know, our world heritage as well, you guys. But right now, it's time for us to take a quick commercial break, but do not go anywhere because after the break, more hectic.
9-9 hectic. 9-9 hectic.